first thing that was just displayed was one of my own. Its take on this just absolutely pathetic excuse for a pasta that for some reason is considered a classic called Lavender Town Syndrome, in which supposedly in the original versions of the Pokemon games that had been released in Japan, there was supposedly some kind of ultra-high frequency that scrambled the brains of young children who had played it and caused them to have seizures and all different kinds of ailments leading up to death in some cases. It's just an absolutely pathetic excuse for a pasta. And so that's where that came from. This is a take on the Holders series, which some of them actually ain't all that bad. But nonetheless, this pasta easily surpasses all of them in its sheer horror. In any city or town, go to a supermarket, go to any of the workers there, and say the following words: I wish to speak with the keeper. If they fall, run away as fast as you can. Don't look back, and don't stop, for you have summoned Satan. If you don't run, you shall go insane and commit suicide. If they don't fall, they will take you to the back of the storage room. There will be a couch. Sit on the middle cushion or experience 1,000 years of pain. Wait for 6 minutes, and then in 6 seconds, a thin old man will appear. He'll give you 6 boxes and disappear, and you will then appear in your house. Quickly bury the 5 boxes and open the one you kept. If there's a golden cat charm, keep it for money. If there's a devil's pitchfork, burn it in your fireplace. For if you don't, you will be possessed and commit suicide and feel 666 years of pain. A classic and ungodly, horrific pasta within the TROLLPasta community. I give you. And then a skeleton popped out. Before reading this pasta, I should read the warning that is issued here. A warning which I have slightly cleaned up due to some things that I feel would not be appropriate for ASMR. If you have a heart condition, do not read this. You will drop the floor, flopping like a fish, while clenching your heart, seeing as you are having a heart attack. A few years ago, a man was walking down a road because his car broke down, and he saw a car coming up behind him, so he stuck his thumb to hitchhike, and the car stopped ahead of him. He ran to the passenger side and opened the door, and when he opened the door, a skeleton popped out. this pasta about a game is so scary. I couldn't even bring myself to display the game on the screen. I've opted instead to show the following image. I just finished playing one of the scariest video games ever. Now hear me out before saying, oh, he's probably just a wimp that gets scared of anything. I don't get scared of video games or movies. I've played many survival horror games and I've seen many horror movies in my day. The only thing that made me just a tiny bit scared was some parts of Penumbrum and Condemned. Amnesia was pretty good. Everything else was just boring. This game was different. Very different. You aren't given any sorts of backstory to the game at all. As soon as you press play, it throws you right into the game. However, I was able to piece together what the story is basically through finally beating this thing. Apparently, you're a madman. We're never given a name, but you can guess what it is if you pay attention to the title screen. For some reason, you escaped from whatever mental hospital you were hiding in. Now, the very hard state of your mind has transformed the halls of the hospital into nothing but a pitch black maze. The only light being the walls, which glow a deathly blue. Your character is apparently some type of mad cannibal that you can barely control. You can force him to turn corners in the creepy hallway, but not much else can be done. Your character seems to grab anything and try to eat it. Whatever is in front of him is thrown into his mouth and he munches it down. While playing the game, you're being chased by 4 hideous and heinously scary ghost monsters. You cannot hurt them at all, and even come close to one is instant death, in which the ghost latches onto you and rips you inside, all while you hear the horrible noise of your body being torn. You can, however, eat some odd objects hidden in the maze, after which your character goes into an even more unstable state. You can literally eat the ghost monsters. Your character runs right up to them and devours them, only leaving their eyes. There aren't any words to describe how horrific and terrifying this game is, and I don't want to spoil surprises for you. Just go ahead and try it for yourself. Google the word Pac-Man and you'll find it on the first search. Here we have a twisted mockery of an already luridly evil creepypasta. I give you a haunting most Mario. Once I wanted to play Mario, but I didn't have a Nintendo for it, and I was at a flea market. This old man I saw had Mario in an NES, but the label was not there. The man said it was owned by a dead kid named Jim. I just said whatever, because I was eager to play Mario on my new NES. I plugged it in, and everything seemed normal. I played World 1 and did it. Then I tried the old warp pipe trick, and when I got to the pipes, instead of the usual text that said welcome to the warp zone, it said welcome to the scary hell place. I thought it was weird. I said whatever and used the farthest pipe. The intro screen showed the words Death World 666. The graphics seemed off, and it sounded like screams happened from the game. It was super scary, but I wasn't scared and kept playing. After a while, I had a place that was impossible to pass because of spikes, so I had to die. I kept trying until my lives were at 0. I thought it was game over, but Mario came back, and this time it looked like his face was bloody. As I started playing the level, it turned to a hidden cloud level, and it looked like Mario had angel wings. A spooky digital voice came out of the Nintendo that sounded like it said, "No hope." As I was about to grab a mushroom, the screen went black. I reset the NES and the game came up. This time the title screen was different, and Mario's face was bloody. It scared me so much that I reset it again. As it came on, the digital voice said, "You can't run from the funk." The screen was hyper-realistic, and it showed Mario again, or this time his face was me and my family's face, and we were skeletons. It was so realistic, I couldn't believe it. I was compelled to try the game again. This time, I started it. As the first Goomba walked towards Mario, Mario turned towards the screen and started screaming, "No Miles, no Miles!" It sounded like the high-quality CD audio, also blast processing. I screamed and turned off the game. I put it away. Later that week, I noticed my family acting distantly. I decided to research Mario games and found out that Mario was a secret game that was only released in 2 arcades on Friday the 13th of June 6, 1997. It seemed weird, so I started playing video games again. I decided to put in the Mario game again. I loaded it up and saw my save file. I clicked it and Mario said, "Why are you stop playing my game?" I didn't take his warning and I played anyway. I got up to Bowser and won, but when I got to Peach, there was a toad there, instead. And he said, Peach is dead. Then a ghost face came up, had a lady's face, and Princess Peach is a lady. I reset the game for the last time. I opened up my save and changed. It changed from my name. It said, Jim died, bro. Ah! Then my mom walked in and she screamed. I was dead the whole time, and guess what? My name was Jim. So anyway, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced anything like that. It might have been just a bad dream. And anyway, my mom sold the cartridge at a yard sale, so I don't have it anymore. But you should believe it, because I said it's true. Note, this was written to be a parody of terrible video game creepypastas. Please know that before making stupid comments, wrote the author of this pasta. I love this pasta because in it, you become the starring character. It's almost like an episode of The Twilight Zone, the way it starts out. You can almost hear Rod Serling saying, so you're with your honey and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it and the voice is, what are you doing with my daughter? You tell your girl and she say, my dad is dead. That was phone! And now, ladies and gentlemen, a most proper send-off. I was sharing a passionate kiss with my romantic interest when my cellular phone alerted me that someone wished to converse with me. The man on the phone inquired as to what I was engaging in with his daughter. Assuming this man was my romantic interest's father, I explained the conversation I had to her. She informed me that her father was deceased. That is when I thought to myself, if her father is dead, then who was conversing with me on the cellular phone? And then a human skeletal structure appeared. And this last TROLLPasta is my personal all-time favorite of the TROLLPastas. It is so just hideously horrific that it even came with the following warning on the site Bogleach, from which it was originally spawned. This is the story of a day when there was all this blood. A man was walking around and blood started coming out of him everywhere. There was so much blood that it filled up an elevator. He went to the store, and there was just blood all over the place. People were slipping in it, and they were all grossed out. He tried to go swimming, and all of the sharks went nuts and bitten everybody. He got chased by all the vampires ever. One time, the blood got on a kid and a dog. At the end of the day, everyone decided they would send him into space so that he would stop getting blood everywhere. The scariest part is that the man was you. Or he was a lady. If you are a lady and you've